Hello. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Servando Lupini, and I'm a 3D associated artist at Blizzard Entertainment for the WoW environment team. Give me a minute. So basically, my job consists on creating assets for the world of Warcraft. So it's mostly organic things like trees, rocks, tile sets for the grounds, waterfalls, skyboxes, you name it, whatever is in the outside environment, we make. So also lighting, which is, I feel your pain. Wait a minute, I'm gonna load up Demoril super quickly. God. Really? Lordy, I don't want to pay for it. Oh, never mind. I'll just show the images. So, okay. So I started when I was a kid, really young. I didn't have a computer at home, but I would spend a lot of time at my cousin's place, and I would watch him play games like Diablo and Warcraft, the first one and the second one, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I would also, whenever he stopped playing, I would sneak into the room and play by in there while he was not there. So I think that's what got me started and interested into the gaming part a little bit. And then once I moved into high school, instead of paying attention in class, I was always drawing in the back of the class, in the books. And my teachers called several times my family, and they were like, oh, he's a great kid, but he should really pay more attention in class instead of drawing all the time. But I think that's really what got me into the path of becoming an artist. So once I finished high school, I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? So I thought at the time that I wanted to do graphic design. And then later I found out because of someone told me, it's not really graphic design. What you want to do is illustration. And I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good. So I signed up for illustration school. I went there back home in Caracas for 3 years, I think. And once I graduated, I started working in an advertisement company. I worked there for 1 year. It was fun. I liked it, but I really didn't want to do cereal boxes and app things for Facebook or whatever. I was like, this is not really what I wanted to do. So I made the choice of leaving home and just coming here to the U.S. to pursue a career as a 3D artist. And that's what got me to Orlando. By the way, is there any international students here? Okay, yeah. It's tough. It's tough just, picking up and leaving your home. And especially, it's not easy coming here to America. There's a lot of stuff that you have to, oh my God, so many paperwork, so many interviews and hours just doing lines, but it's crazy. Also, never forget your I-20s, because when I got here, I left my I-20 back home, and they put me in a little room in the airport, and I was there for a couple of hours, and it's pretty bad. Yeah, don't do that. I finished in Orlando, and I didn't really feel like my demo reel was on par to what I wanted to do, and it was also, I didn't really know, my dream, a lot of people was, I want to work for Blizzard one day, but, I was like, I'm not even a quarter of the way there, so that's when I decided, again, to move from one side of the country to the other side and come here to California, to Gnomon, which I knew about Gnomon because of the Gnomon DVDs and how good they were. I've been seeing them since I was in illustration school back at Caracas. I had a friend who had a couple of them, and that's how I got to know what Gnomon was. And I always was like, oh my God, I wish I could go there someday, because I used to see the work of students coming from here, and also just the work from the teachers that taught here. And I was like, okay, I definitely need to go there and just polish my work. So I finally got to Gnomon. And I guess one of the main struggles I had going through Gnomon was, okay, now it's time. Now I really need to find out what I really wanted to do, right? I was like, doing a couple of things. I'm going to show you student work. Some of it is really embarrassing, so please don't make fun of me. like this guy right here for the creature sculpting class. And, it was more realistic, I guess. But I enjoy doing it, but it wasn't really something that I was like, oh, I want to do this for the rest of my life, Concepting class with Jeremy Rans, creature design, was an amazing class that I took here in Nomen. It really taught me a lot of how to do concepts, and some of the techniques I learned in that class I still use in my day-by-day work. This guy right here is kind of meh, But then, as I was getting close to demo reel, I took the environment class for games and the character for games class here at Nomen, and that's when I finally was like, okay, you know what? I want to work for Blizzard. I love WoW. I want to do hand-painted stuff. I don't care what everyone says about, because here a lot of people do, realistic stuff, right? And I was always like, wow, if I do this, I don't know, it's very different from what everyone's doing. So I had, that peer pressure of, keeping up with the realism. And I was like, whatever, I'll just do whatever I want to do, which is this specific thing. This was my first environment ever, my hand-painted environment. Lighting is horrible, everything is horrible. The only kind of good thing are the textures in the background. But I was like, I had a lot of fun doing this. I just like mindlessly painting all day, and I sat down and that's what I did. It's like turning off your mind and just, I'm like a printer, I'm painting all the little details all day, yay, fun. So then I created this character for the character for games class, which, it was still had sculpting on it and stuff, but mostly all the textures were hand painted, and it was very entertaining to do. So when I got to demo reel, I still was a little bit hesitant to just doing gearing my portfolio towards just one company. And I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket basically. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick 3 concepts that are a completely different style of what I want to do. Just in case, to have it as a backup if I fail at, reaching my goal, which was Blizzard. And then, at least I'll have something different to show, different things that I can do, right? So this guy, who was my third project in demo reel, it's very stylized, very Disney, not really Blizzard. But after I finished with him and some other projects that I made, I was like, okay, now it's time to focus on what I really want to do, not listen to what anyone has to say. This is my goal, this is what I want to do and achieve, and I'll just work hard to get this. Also, happens that term I was working on a concept for the Student Art Contest for Blizzard, because I knew it was coming and I knew I wanted to do something for it. So I started working on a concept, which was my pumpkin project. And once I finished the concept, I presented it to Alex Alvarez, and I decided, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to finish this model and have it be one of my entries for the contest. So it took me about 3 weeks. I spent a little bit more than I should have probably, but I just really wanted to dedicate all my time into this project because I knew if I made it right, it would be a good asset for my demo reel. So this was the finished product. There's still a little bit of things that could match a little bit better, but yeah, it was pretty fun doing it. It was my first time doing an open environment, and I was struggling a lot, especially because at the time I did not know how to do a skybox, which is, oh god, it's awful. It's so complicated. But it's pretty fun. Once you know how to do them, it's amazing. It's setting up the skybox and then painting away. So then after this, I just kept doing all hand-painted models. This guy, this guy's the concept is not, I didn't do it, by the way. Just to clarify, it's an amazing artist. I think it's Siddhartha, something like that. I don't know, you can DeviantArt him, but he's really talented. Then I did another entry for also the Blizzard Student Art Contest, but this time for characters. So I did I didn't have anything, so I just did a quick render of basically the character and render them out. I'll show it in the demo reel. So once I was waiting I finished Nomen, I finished my demo reel, I graduated, and then I was basically applying for jobs. It was like 2 months after I finished, and I was like, okay, well, I haven't heard anything from anyone. I sent my demo reel everywhere. I was like, well, I might as well try going to GDC. So I signed up for it. I got a ticket to go to San Francisco, and I was getting ready. And then I get a phone call from a block number, and I'm like, okay, hello? Oh, yeah, this is from Blizzard. We just wanted to let you know that you got the first place at the Student Art Contest for Environment category. And I was like, yeah. What? Really? What? Okay, what? Oh, and the girl, actually, she started cracking up because I was like, no way. You're like, what? And she's like, yeah, you won. And I'm like, oh, okay. I started like screaming, jumping, I was super excited. Not only because I got a 1-year free subscription for WoW, which, come on, dude, pretty sweet. But also because I got invited to go for a tour at the Blizzard campus, and I was like, oh God, okay. Coming from Venezuela and like playing Blizzard games since I was a kid, that was like my dream, and oh my God, you have no idea. I was like, I can't believe it. These guys are like gods to me, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. So I finally got to the campus. I met the entire team, or the leads. I met my boss, my lead, Gary Plattner, and the amazing artist at the environment team. And I was super excited. And then, the day went by, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's time to go back to reality, Still looking for a job. That was on a Friday. Past Saturday, past Sunday, on Monday, I got another phone call from a locked number. Mind you, I was in a Mac store trying to repair my iPad because I wanted to take it to GDC to show my portfolio. I was in line. I got the phone call. I pick up. Yeah, this is Stephen Dowling. Scott. Just wanted to tell you that the team really wants you to start working here. And I was like, I grabbed my iPad. The guy was like, oh, yeah, you need to pay $500, get a new one. I was like, bye. I don't want to pay $500. I just got hired. Bye-bye. I got out of the store in the Grove, and I was like, yes, and he's like, okay, calm down. There's a bit of bad news. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So because you're an international student, and I'm like, oh, God, okay, here we go. So we might have some problems with your visa application. And I was like, okay, what's the problem? We only have 3 weeks to finish the application and turn it in. This was before April 1st. It's like the deadline for H-1B visas if you want to apply for a working visa. So international students, keep it in mind. If you're graduating before that, score. If not, you have to wait 1 year. Bad. So I was like, okay, bye-bye GDC. I don't care that I paid money to go there. I'm going to stay here. I am going to give them everything that they want from me and hope that it all goes well, And actually, they did a pretty amazing job, especially the lawyer that was helping me out. She did everything super fast, and we applied. We got it in time, and that's when I started working at Blizzard. So before I started working at Blizzard and when all of this was going on, I was like, well, I'm still going to keep practicing, just to be warmed up for when I start. So I did a couple of concepts for like, I'm going to make the Disney princesses as World of Warcraft characters. Yeah, this is so cool. So this was my first sketch or my first attempt at it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to model her. And then I'm like, I don't know. I don't really like the outfit. So I decided to also build a weapon for her. And I'm like, oh, which one should I pick? Okay, I picked one of them. I modeled it out, rendered it, I painted it. And then I decided I didn't like the concept. So I went back to scratch and redid her and threw her in like a small environment. And I was like, okay, cool. I also did a witch for my pumpkin house, just because I was like, maybe I have time to model it. I didn't have time to finish anything. I just did a couple concepts before I started working. But let me go actually forward. When I finally started working in WoW, one of my big surprises was 3D Max. coming to Neumann, I was a Maya person, and oh boy, yes, Max, beautiful Max. Luckily, though, they're really awesome with new hires at Blizzard, and I had 2 mentors that today are one of my greatest friends, and they helped me out a lot, and whenever I had questions, they would come by and explain to me how things worked, and naming conventions, and proprietary software, and everything, right? So, okay, I got there, I took like 1-2 weeks to learn Max, and then when I finally was ready, they were like, okay, here's your first task. Very simple. Those trees in the background, just do like a dead version of it. I'm like, okay, cool. Dead version, yay. Although this is another model for the new patch that just came out for the Tenen Jungle expansion, but at least the branches and the color on top is kind of still mine, I guess. A lot of people work on the assets, and one of the good things, or the things that I like about games in general, is that you get to do a lot of assets environments, and it's not something that you see for a fraction of a second. Players see it all the time. Everywhere they go, that bush right there, that's mine. That tree, mine. That sky. That other one, no. Okay, but I know who did it. He sits right next to me. So okay, my first full asset for the WoW game was this tree right here. So I did 2 versions of it. This dead version and corrupted by Fel, and then these like normal versions that are all around this is like in the starting area of Tenen Jungle when you start the expansion in Warlords of Draenor. And then I also did the tile set for the Fel corruption in the floor that they paint around, when you're trying to, well, like this, And I did a dead variant of this bush right here. And then I moved on to Nagrand. My task was to start doing waterfalls, which are very fun. But that's when I politely got asked to leave the country for a couple of months while I was getting my visa. And when I say politely is you get a letter saying, your OPT ran out. You have 30 days to get the fudge out. And I was like, okay, cool. So, which was awesome because it was like a pretty long vacation, and I got to see some good friends and relax. But at the same time, I was kind of scared because I was like, God, I'm going to be out there for like 3 months. I'm not going to have a computer. I'm not going to have, time. Like, I can't build stuff. So I was like, okay, what do I do? I started doing, these guys, which are just, spheres, practice materials for like hand painted. So it was very fun. Some of them took short time. Some of them took a long time. Also pretty disgusting reference. But, it's just a cool way to try new things, especially painting wise, because sometimes you can create brushes or just do things with the layering, to make it look a certain way. And I really learned a lot from this. And if you are interested in doing hand-painted stuff, I really recommend doing material studies, because not only is it good for you to practice hand-painted style, but you also get to memorize the actual material. So if you ever need to redo it again later on, you already have kind of an experience of doing these kind of things, right? Then I also did this guy right here. While I was away. It's really not Blizzard style, but it was all hand painted, each little strand of hair very carefully placed and everything. But yeah, and then these are just processes of how I do these. So I just do flat color, and then I grab all of these. By the way, I don't really have a brush preset in Photoshop. I just use the normal ones that come in with the software, just a hard round brush like you can see here. And then I go on top with the speckle one and just render until the final product. And here is very obvious, flat color, a little bit of detailing, and then overlay with specks, to get the glossiness and stuff. And then this one was a more recent addition, I guess. I have a friend at work that I tease about her sending owls to kill me, and yes, this is the final product of her vengeance, I guess. But yeah, I wish I could show you guys more about like the work I've been doing recently for the new expansion. Unfortunately, as some of you may know, tomorrow is BlizzCon. Yay, who's excited? But because it's tomorrow, I can't show anything. So if you guys are interested in seeing some of the environments and just looking at some of the pieces I've worked on and I've gotten the pleasure of working on, there is a video on the website if you want to take a look at it sometime. And probably there will be more announcements on BlizzCon. But let me give it one more try for Vimeo, which is being bad. Finally. Okay. Okay. My demo is super short and sweet, so thank you. Thank you. For a final piece of advice for students, it's going to be a little bit redundant because most of these guys have covered it, but don't compare your work to your students, to your peers. Compare it to the professionals that are right now in the industry, because this will help push you to that level. And if you match it or even surpass it, it'll be easier for you guys to like get a job, you know? Take advantage of facilities like in Nomen. Like the amount of knowledge that all the peers and teachers have here, it's amazing. Like, or whatever school you go to, like lab time especially, like I got to hang out with a lot of really talented people that probably knew way more than I do about 3D in general. And if I ever had difficulties, you know, they would help me out, or if they didn't understand or didn't know how to do something, I would help them out, you know. It builds connections. It's a way of networking, and it's very important to start building those relationships when you're at school. I cannot stress this enough. Also, please put your work out there. Enter contests. Put your work in websites and forums like ArtStation and Polycount. I don't know, like whatever you want. Because you never know, you could win. Someone might look at your work and send you an email or send you an inbox and being like, hey, I like your work. Would be interested in having you here for an interview or stuff like that. You know, like for example, when I finished my material studies and I put them in ArtStation, it got on the trending area and pick selection. And one of the art producers in WoW was like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, the poop is nasty. The pie looks good. Oh, who did this? Oh, it's Servando. He works here. And then when I had my one-on-one with him, he's like, so I saw your texture materials in ArtStation. I'm like, oh, cool, man. Like, You know, like if I would have been someone that doesn't work there, he probably would have been like, oh, this guy's good, you know, if I eventually applied, you know, because also we have accounts and we are always looking in those websites for like just to see other people's work, for inspiration, for whatever. And if you're interested in working at Blister, for example, and you post your work and I see it and I'm like, oh, this guy's good. And you guys apply for the environment team and we're like, oh, I've seen this guy's work, you know, like it's a good way to like put yourselves out there and you know, I don't know, get people's eyes on it, I guess. Also for international students, please have like 1 billion copies of every paper, every goddamn thing you have, and keep them neatly organized. Okay, my folder was like this big with all the papers and documents and everything that I had to carry around all the time, and it's a horrible thing, but you guys know I feel the pain, you know, I feel yours, you know, it's possible, you can do it. And also, I think last but not least, 2 very important things. Work hard, work really hard to achieve your goals. Like everything is possible. If you work hard, you will get to where you want, but at the same time, also don't kill yourself working hard. I know way too many people that drink like 5, 10 Red Bulls and energy drinks and and eat really unhealthy, and then they end up with like health problems or get really burnt out because they're always working. It's good to like keep a good balance of working hard and also taking rest and enjoying, because when you get back to your work, you go with recharged energy, a new set of eyes, you know, and that's very good. Don't kill yourself doing your work, because then you don't get to reap the rewards of your hard-paid work. And I think that's it for me. You know?